Hi, this is Peter Woolfolk speaking. Now, first of all, thank you so very much for listening to the podcast. Now, I am very excited to let you know that the podcast is now available on Amazon Alexa. You know the drill. Simply say, Alexa, play Public Relations Review Podcast, and she'll take it from there. And again, thank you for listening. And if you enjoy the program, please become a subscriber. Now, on to the podcast.
Welcome. This is the Public Relations Review Podcast, a program to discuss the many facets of public relations with seasoned professionals, educators, authors, and others. Now, here is your host, Peter Woolfolk.
Welcome to the Public Relations Review Podcast and to our listeners all across America and around the world. Now, question. Have you grown tired of the numerous platforms needed to keep track of your earned media initiatives, from journalist relationship management to personalized and efficient pitching, campaign tracking, team management, client reporting, and more, plus having to use multiple platforms? Well, worry no more. PROPEL is here. PROPEL has reimagined earned media with its public relations management tool that includes the industry's only native Gmail and Outlook email pitch, with proprietary preferences for each journalist and influencer, productivity metrics including open, response, and publish rates, and reports that reveal traffic and business goals. PROPEL is now the fastest growing public relations technology in the world. Now this should whet your appetite. So joining me today is Zack Cutler, founder and CEO, and he's joining us all the way from Tel Aviv, Israel. So, Zack, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Peter. Great to be here.
So first tell me, what was it that caused you to want and see a need to develop PROPEL?
Well, I was in PR my whole career since I've been 20 years old. I started my first job in PR was as an intern at Ogilvy in Los Angeles during one of my summer breaks from college. And I really loved media relations. I just loved the thrill of creating a message and a story from scratch and then finding the right targets and pitching it and then getting a client in a major national outlet. And after I finished university, I started doing freelance PR work for a couple companies and worked really hard and got them solid results and started getting some word of mouth. Then I had a third company interested and a fourth company. And at that point, I've always been really entrepreneurial, and I said, I think I'm going to look at this as an agency, and these are my first 4 clients, and I'm going to try to grow this from there. Started the agency in 2009. We grew to about 15 people. It was called Cutler PR. We were based in New York, and all of our clients were tech companies. We worked with some amazing customers, and many of them have gone on to become unicorns and decacorns. In fact, we had 74 tech customers over 9 years, and 15 of them have become unicorns, 5 of them have become decacorns, and many more IPOs and acquisitions. So I bring all of that up, Peter, because I was working with all these companies that were bringing huge innovation and disruption to their industries, and I was looking at my own industry and saying, what's going on here? I want a better way to manage my agency, to understand how each campaign is performing, to understand the ROI we're delivering to our clients, to understand which team and team members are being really productive and which ones need some professional development. And there was no tool that allowed us to do that. We tried all of the PR software. We tried using regular CRMs for sales like HubSpot or Salesforce, and we tried to bend over backwards to make those CRMs work for PR, and they just didn't work. The workflow is so different. So I've always been a numbers guy and a data guy, and I started to get really passionate about trying to make PR more data-driven and more measurable and better workflow. And so I decided to sell my agency and start PROPEL as the first CRM for PR, which we call PRM. and the rest is history.
Well, so let's talk about those individual components, if you will. So pitching, how do you construct how do you construct Propel so that it helps you with pitching to the media?
So there's a few things. One of our biggest differentiators is that I knew as a PR person that no PR people like to go into PR software and pitch from within the software. They all pitch from their own Gmail or Outlook.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that we would not be able to get PR people to pitch from Propel, that we should instead bring Propel into their native email. So we ended up building the first and only full Gmail plugin for among any PR software, and then we did the same for Outlook. So what happens is you can discover the targets that you want to pitch or upload your existing list or just send a one-off. But now you can do that in Gmail or Outlook and have it attached to the right campaign. So later you can go back and see, what was my open rate? What was my response rate? What was my publish rate for that campaign versus that campaign? For that account versus that account? For that team versus that team? And you can also understand how much traffic did that send to our site or to our client's site? How many purchases? How many, ebook downloads? How many form submissions? So all of that's possible with the PRM.
Does this in any way make a substitute? Because I've been in public relations for a long time, and I've always enjoyed what I call the art of pitching. I want to get you on the phone and talk to you and tell you why this is a good story. And in some cases, you develop relationships that way. This is not a substitute. Is this sort of a supplement to that?
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, Peter, because the way I look at it is PR is a creative discipline, and it always will be, and it always should be. But when you're able to marry the creativity of PR with data and metrics about what's working and who's engaging with your pitch, and which pitch is more effective, and which subject lines are more effective, and which journalists are engaging with the team, and who on the team has the best relationship with each journalist. When you have that data and you marry that with the creativity, that's where the magic happens.
Okay. So is there any sort of what I guess it's called maybe the A/B testing? You send out this message one way and the B side, and then you look at which one got the better responses. Is there any of that built into this program?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can do a full drill down into, we call it the batting averages. For this subject line, we had, 5% open rate. For that subject line, we had 10%. So you can start to see what's working and then double down on that.
Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of journalists, how is Propel structured so that we can find the right journalist for our particular pitches? Or is there a combination thereof because you have some already set aside in certain areas and then we can add our own? Is there a combination of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, first of all, you can add any list that you already have or any individual journalist that you already have easily into Propel. But you can also discover over 1 million journalists that we have in our database. And we have a very unique layer of data for each journalist, which we call the pitching preferences. So because we have the only Gmail and Outlook plugins in the industry, we have millions and millions and millions of real pitches that our users have sent through Gmail or Outlook. And we do an aggregated, anonymized analysis of these millions of pitches to understand the topics of each pitch. And then we cross-reference that with whether or not the journalist engaged with the pitch. And now all of a sudden we're able to have the 5 top topics that each journalist most engages with in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also able to have the day of the week and the time of the day that the journalist most engages. So suddenly you look at, Sarah Smith at Forbes, she most engages with pitches about Bitcoin, about green energy, about et cetera, and she prefers to be pitched on Wednesday in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden you have this data about not only what to pitch, but when to pitch each journalist based on their preferences.
Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, when you said the sheer volume of journalists you have, how much time did it take you to, let's say, just go through and look at the journalists and cull all of that information and categorize it as you've done so far? I'm just curious about the investment of time put into that.
So we spent 2.5 years getting to product market fit and having a full end-to-end PR software. We've put in blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we still continue to roll out powerful features and constantly improve the product month after month, day after day.
Mm-hmm. So now, in terms of some of the other measurements that users can get from using Propel.
Yeah. So the way we look at Propel is that there's 4 main areas. There's the discover area, pitch, monitor, and analyze. So in discover, kind of speaks for itself. You are able to discover over 1 million journalists, over 50 million Twitter influencers. Also, you're able to discover over 3 billion articles. And based on those articles and those topics of those articles, you can then add the authors of those articles into your list. Then you pitch. So that's where you use the PRM and the Gmail and Outlook plugins to save a lot of time on pitching, but not sacrificing at all on personalization, because we are big believers in killing spray and pray.
Right.
Spray and pray is horrible. And Propel is spray and pray, the era of spray and pray is over. We're killing it. And Propel is all about one-to-one relationship building and forming those smart relationships. So pitch area of Propel, you can really build those relationships and understand, the full pitching history with every journalist so that you're not double pitching, you're not over pitching. You can understand which of your colleagues has the best relationship with each journalist based on past engagement. And then in the monitor area, you can have full media monitoring of online media, social media, and broadcast. So you can monitor all your mentions, understand where you're being covered, what your share of voice is, your sentiment, and also article authority, which is a proprietary new methodology we've developed, which we call the first non-vanity metric in PR. And then you're able to analyze what was our ROI from PR, what was the productivity of each campaign, and each team member, et cetera. So those are the 4 areas of Propel.
Now, how are the journalists categorized? Because when you talked about the sheer volume of it, I mean, obviously they can be broken down by U.S., is it by state, is it by their areas that they cover? How do you segregate and decide how I'm going to use all of these reporters?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we allow our users to search by geography. So we split it down by country, by state, also by category. So business journalists or technology journalists, but also much more specific categories. You can also search by outlet name. So you put in Forbes and you can see everyone that works at Forbes. You can also search by area code of phone number and other parameters as well. So you can search by media type. So lots of different options for how to search.
Okay. And I'm just going to make the assumption that did you have any journalists involved in the testing of this to say, well, fine, yes, I like this done this way, or no, I don't like it done that way, as part of your development process on this?
Yeah. So one of the most important things to me is getting feedback from PR professionals, from journalists, and incorporating that into how we build the product and into our roadmap.
So what were some of the major hurdles that you had to overcome as you began to put Propel together?
The question is, which hurdles did we not have?
Okay.
Because as a startup, it's just so difficult to get, an idea into a real platform, and to be able to get the right people on board and get the right product market fit, and to get the funding, and to get all these different pieces together. And it's very hard work. But I'm so passionate about building this industry and moving it forward that I love it. And despite the challenges, we have gotten to a great place, and we have a phenomenal team of almost 30 people now. We've raised $6 million in funding, which we closed the round in December. And we're really, really excited about where we are and where we're going.
Now, I'm talking to you while you're in Tel Aviv. Now, I understand that you do have offices in the U.S.
Yes.
So where are the various shops that you have here in the U.S.?
So we're a work-from-anywhere company. So most
Right.
of our employees are based in the U.S. We've decided not to take any physical office. So 2 of our employees live on a van traveling across the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
A few more of our employees, Airbnb hop constantly across Europe, the U.S., North America, other countries and places as well. And, our main sort of centers are Tel Aviv. We have about 5 or 6 people in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem area. We've got about 5 people in London, and then we've got close to 20 people across the U.S., from New York to Florida to California. And one of my favorite things about Propel that really amazes me every day is a lot of our team has never met in person. In fact, I'd say most of our team has never met in person, yet we have a very close-knit culture and a very close-knit team. And people love working at Propel, and they love the team and their colleagues. So somehow, despite the physical distance, we've been able to create this real sense of camaraderie and close, team spirit, which is just so exciting.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me say this. I came across an email that, because I do belong to the Public Relations Society of America, and somehow, I got an email through that, and that when I read about Propel, I said, wow, this looks fascinating. So I've really not had a chance because of the podcast and actually taking care of business, trying to assemble it so I can get it up and running. So I'm really looking forward to using this because it certainly could make life a lot easier in the process.
Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. And to what you were just saying, we're excited to not just be, innovating on the product side of things, but also on the business model. We launched our freemium version last month. So we're the first full end-to-end PR software that is available for free. Mm-hmm. And it's part of our mission of democratizing PR and making PR accessible to anyone so that they can reach their audience and tell their story. And I know that in this industry, the software historically has been really expensive. You have to, tie into annual or 2-year contracts, and it's very high cost. And we're flipping all of that on its head and saying, wait a second, let's offer this for free and just get people in. Obviously, there are limitations to the free version, and we would like you to upgrade. But the fact is you can get tons of benefit just in the free version. So it's something that we're also excited to be doing.
Well, that was really one of the things that attracted your information to me, because obviously my audience is all public relations people. And one of our goals has been from the beginning to provide our listeners with information they can use in their day-to-day activities. So, and that's one of the reasons I think that we've grown so fast. I never envisioned having a worldwide podcast. It just happened. And, we've got listeners in over 1,700 cities around the world.
Wow.
So I'm thinking that having this kind of information they're really going to listen to this and take advantage of Propel. I'm certainly going to, when I get some leisure time, the weekend is coming up, so I'm going to work on setting it up so I can begin to use it myself.
That's great to hear, Peter. And if you want any kind of, onboarding session or whatnot, our customer success team would be happy to help you with that.
Well, I sure appreciate that. Well, Zack, you've provided an awful lot of great information for our listeners. Let me ask you if we have missed asking you anything that you believe that the listeners should know about Propel.
I would just add that one of the things that we're most proud of is being the only PR software that's built by actual PR people. Mm-hmm. We come from the industry. We love the industry. We want to help the industry and all the people in the industry. And, we're working day and night to bring innovation to this industry that we all love. And, we'll keep doing that and keep rolling out valuable features that just help improve the lives of PR professionals.
Well, Zack, thank you so very much. My guest today has been Zack Cutler. He is the founder and CEO of the brand new PROPEL software, now public relations management tool. And based on the conversation we've had today, and hopefully you too will actually go get it and begin to use it, because it can certainly make your life a lot easier. So, Zack, thank you so very, very much for joining us. I've appreciated it. And to my listeners, I said thank you for listening, and be sure to listen to us at the next edition of the Public Relations Review podcast. Thank you so very much.
This podcast is produced by Communication Strategies, an award-winning public relations and public affairs firm headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, this is Peter Woolfolk. First, let me say thank you so much for being a listener. Now, I want to alert you to our shiny new podcast website located at podpage.com. However, you can go directly to the podcast site located at publicrelationsreviewpodcast.com. There, you can contact me through email. You can leave a voice message. You can leave a review. You can read an episode blog and frequently learn about the podcast guests. You might also want to suggest podcast topic ideas or even suggest a guest. You can also let me know if you would like to receive our podcast listener logo that you can post on your social media. So I look forward to hearing from you about our new podcast website. Thank you so much for listening to the Public Relations Review podcast, and have a great day.